My name is Kian Tajbakhsh. I'm a professor of international relations at NYU, and I'm a research affiliate at Columbia University in New York City. It's important to understand at this critical juncture how we got into the Iran war and what looks to many people like a mess of the Iran war. I have made the argument that it's important to have historical context and a historical perspective. I have made the claim that that President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel could be said they did not start the war with Iran in February of 2026 or in March of 2026. They really tried to react to a war that I think was inevitable. Why do I say that? It's because in 1979, when the Islamic Revolution took over, the Islamic Revolution declared war on four fronts: against the United States, against Israel, against liberal modernity, the values of liberal civilization, and against the majority of its own people that rejected the Islamic Republic. So this wasn't, so everyone knows that the Islamic Republic says and chants death to America, not only as a public kind of chant, but it is official policy of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And it's not just words, it is actions. They took the embassy hostage, they have killed American servicemen over the years, they have harassed American shipping in the Persian Gulf, have attacked American allies. In terms of Israel, the official policy of the Islamic Republic of Iran is to wipe Israel off the map. And if that includes the people inside of Israel, including the Jewish people of Israel, that is part of their policy too. So that really is a kind of genocidal policy, and they've been investing money and missiles and supporting proxy groups, which the West designates as terrorist groups, for many years. Against liberal modernity, the most famous action of the Islamic Republic of Iran was the fatwa against the Indian British writer Salman Rushdie. They put a bounty on his head. They asked Muslims around the world to murder him. And just last year, one of these fanatics attacked Salman Rushdie at a literary festival and almost killed him and blinded him by plunging a knife into his eye. Against their own people, the Islamic Republic of Iran is a dictatorship. It does not accept the opposition of a majority of its people. So the question is, why did the tolerable words, or let's say of death to America, death to Israel, where did that tip over into intolerable actions? And I think that after October 7th, 2023, the Hamas attack on Israel and the attempt by the Iranian regime to get a nuclear weapon, I think the Western powers felt that it was no longer, they could no longer wait for the Islamic Republic of Iran to become the next North Korea armed with a nuclear weapon. And I think that is really the overall reason why the military operation against Iran was started. Once we understand the roots, the almost half-century roots of the Iran war, the crisis that I mentioned, we have to then look and see what the US is doing right and what it's doing wrong. So in my view, the US was right to confront Iran's attempt to create a nuclear weapon, its attempt to support proxies to eliminate the state of Israel, its attack on writers and freedom of speech in the West. But the question is how to do it. And obviously, you can do something that is right, but you could do it the wrong way, and you can make the situation worse. And so I think that it's important to distinguish between doing the right thing and doing it the right way. And what we see currently, it might be that some of the actions and some of the tactics that are being used by the United States are counterproductive. But I think ultimately what I'd like to end with is that I think that it's very important that young people begin to think about international affairs in a broader and deeper way. Unfortunately, my generation, we wanted to leave young people, the new generation, with a peaceful world, a world after the Cold War that would be characterized by peaceful relations, economic prosperity, and a thriving culture where where there would be cultural coexistence amongst the people of the world, there would be economic prosperity, and the conflicts between countries would be sorted out through diplomacy. But unfortunately, we have seemed to go back to a world of great power politics, of war, such as in Ukraine, in Gaza, and in Iran. And that's why I've decided to write a book for an introduction to international relations and world politics for young readers. People like my daughter, who is a senior in high school and will be going to college, but high school students that need to understand more about the realities of international relations, because it's going to affect their lives in a way that maybe they never anticipated. And to that project, to that book, and to what I would like to speak to high school students and young readers would be a mix of idealism and realism that I mentioned at the outset. And that's my hope, that that armed with greater knowledge of the historical context and armed with both reality, a sense of realism, and to hold on to their idealism, that we can live in a better and just world, they will be able to play an important contributing role as leaders and as contributions, as people who will contribute to a better society and their own society.